Everybody, and welcome back on It Up with Annie. In this session, we are going to talk about psychoanalytic criticism, the next lesson in the theory course. So, we have done structuralism and post structuralism, and today we are going to begin with psychoanalysis. So, what is psychoanalytic criticism, or what is psychoanalysis? How does the term originate? You all know what is psychology, right? Study of mind. Psychoanalysis, analyzing particular things. For example, अगर हम psychology की ही बात करें तो साइकोलॉजी में लोगों के माइंड्स को रीड करना, उनको एनालाइज करना, कैरेक्टर्स को एनालाइज करना, राइट? सो हाउ इज इट इम्पॉर्टेंट फॉर अस, फॉर लिटरेचर स्टूडेंट? So, what is literary psychoanalysis? In literary psychoanalysis, what we do is we take up certain texts and we pick up the characters and we try to analyze the how characters react in a particular situation. Or through the works, certain psychoanalysts tried to analyze the minds of the authors also. You know, if they have, in a particular way, they have given certain dialogues to characters, or they have framed the entire story, that also reflects author's mind. So that is how literary psychoanalysis is important for the literature students, how we analyze the texts. Now, there are certain very important things in psychoanalytic criticism or psychoanalysis. Number one is Oedipus complex, very, very famous complex which was talked about by Freud. And let's see what Oedipus complex is. It evolved out by analyzing a situation described by Greek playwright Sophocles of the Greek king Oedipus, who killed his father to marry his mother without being aware of the true nature of either of the acts. So, आपको पता है इडिपस कॉम्प्लेक्स एक लिटरेचर के एक कैरेक्टर से आता है. इडिपस, सोफोक्लिस प्लेराइट आप सबने सुना होगा. उनके वर्क में इडिपस रेक्स, इडिपस इज द कैरेक्टर. स्टोरी के अंदर क्या होता है दैट सी इडिपस डजंट नो who his father is, who his mother is, where he's raised to be a great person. So he kills his father unintentionally. And he marries his mother without knowing that she's actually his mother, without being aware of the true nature of either of the acts. यहाँ से Oedipus complex लिया था. Now when आपने you must have heard that this work, a particular work has Oedipus complex के characters. जैसे कि D.H. Lawrence's works, certain works have Oedipus complex in it. How do we know that? Again, by analyzing the text, we see this is the main situation that we keep in our minds, and we apply this to the different situations of different works and understand if in a particular work characteristics of Oedipus complex are there or not. That's one thing, Oedipus complex. Another thing, texts are read for the desires they have in them. See, I'm just giving you an introduction first of all, and then we'll do this in detail also. Texts are read for the desires they have in them. This is a major concept in reader response criticism also. Some of the reader response critics talk about that. Us as readers, we have different likings. Me as a reader has a different liking. You as a reader have a different liking. What I mean to say is, I might like a particular work, you might like a different work. You might have a liking towards a particular genre, है ना, जैसे crime fiction or romantic novels. Similarly, for you. So, why do we read particular texts? Because of the desires that they have in them, the drives in the characters and the unconscious in them. Because there are certain things in those texts that may be taboo in our society. And by reading those texts, we fulfill those desires of us. the unconscious desires. That's another concept. Then, this move to explore the nature of human psyche by exploring deeper hidden meanings in the texts and their characters is what we define as psychoanalytic. तो क्या है psychoanalytic? This entire move of exploring deeper hidden meanings of the texts. We read the text, we try to find the hidden meanings in them. We try to read the characters deeper. And that's what we define. That's what psychoanalytic is defined as. The main figure, Sigmund Freud, he invented this discipline, psychoanalysis. So he's called the father of psychoanalytic school of analysis, Sigmund Freud. He said that language concealed, revealed, or modified hidden desires, anxieties, or fears. So Sigmund Freud was also very interested in language, and that is why that's one of the main reasons that we try to analyze the texts to find out the meanings, the hidden meanings. So Sigmund Freud also said that language ऐसी चीज़ है जिसमें बहुत सारे meanings जो हैं वो छुपे हुए हैं. Language concealed, revealed, or modified hidden desires, anxieties and fears also. हम लोग हमेशा अपने anxieties, fears को out loudly बताते नहीं हैं, accept भी नहीं करते हैं, हमें कई बार पता भी नहीं होता है. Language से बहुत कुछ पता चल जाता है. Desires cannot be expressed explicitly because they are forbidden by the society. So language and other forms of symbolic expressions like gestures, sounds, facial expressions or writing is used to discover it. आप अपनी desires किसी को out loudly बताओगे? नहीं बताओगे. Maybe कुछ बता दोगे क्योंकि कुछ desires जो हैं वो बहुत छोटी होती हैं. They are accepted by the society. But there are certain desires in certain human beings that they will not tell out loudly. Why? Because society doesn't allow such things, certain things. It's a taboo in the society. So, language comes into the picture. Through language, we are able to discover those things. Sigmund Freud आगे चल के ये भी कहते हैं that कुछ desires ऐसी होती हैं जो इतनी ज़्यादा टैबू होती है सोसाइटी में कि हम उन डिज़ायर्स को रिप्रेस कर देते हैं. हम कॉन्शियसली उन डिज़ायर्स को कभी भी एक्सेप्ट नहीं करते. हम लोग उनको रिप्रेस कर देते हैं अपने अनकॉन्शियस में. तो हमारा कॉन्शियस माइंड को भी पता नहीं होता कि हमारे अंदर ऐसी कोई डिज़ायर है. तो वो बाहर आती हैं थ्रू लैंग्वेज. मे बी जेस्चर्स, मे बी साउंड्स, मे बी फेशियल एक्सप्रेशन, स्लिप ऑफ टंग्स, ड्रीम्स या फिर राइटिंग. कई बार जो आर्टिस्ट्स होते हैं थ्रू पेंटिंग और थ्रू म्यूजिक थिंग्स कम आउट. Now Freud was finding a link between language and the unconscious. The unconscious is the major field that Sigmund Freud is interested in. That's what he wants to find out, that है क्या unconscious में. So Sigmund Freud tries to find a link between language and the unconscious. He wants to understand what is there in the unconscious mind. He talks about the structure of human psyche, and he says there are three things in the structure of human psyche: id, ego and superego. सबने ये terms सुने हैं. ego तो सबने ही सुना है. बड़ा ईगो है उसमें. बेचारा ईगो ऐसे ही बदनाम है. ईगो इज द बैलेंस between id and super ego. Look at this picture. It's like a pendulum. Ego is in the center. एक तरफ id है, एक तरफ super ego है. Now imagine, you might have seen those movies जिसमें एक कैरेक्टर है, वो बीच में फंस गया है दो थॉट्स के बीच में. एक डेविलिश थॉट है जो devilish thought is trying to provoke the human being to do certain bad things, and on the other hand there is this angelic figure which tries to tell the human being that okay, you have to do certain good things in life, don't do this, don't do that. Oh, light is out. So Now, what is ego? Ego is the balance between id and superego. So, id is the selfish one. Superego is the morality, जो हमें बार बार morality बताता है, that this is good for us, this is good for the society. And ego balances both. See, ना ही बहुत ज़्यादा id अच्छा है, ना ही बहुत ज़्यादा superego अच्छा है. So, ego is the balance between id and superego. So the power was out, I had to change the location. I hope structures of the human psyche is clear. Ego, the conscious mind. We work with ego. That's why I think we say ego बहुत ज़्यादा. I think that probably means that ego is towards id. बड़ा ego है उसमें. And if the person is really, very nice, kind towards you, then I think the pendulum, ego is towards superego. So ego is the conscious mind, we work with it, we use it and are most aware of it. It mediates between the unconscious id and the superego, source of decision making. Superego is our conscience. हम बोलते हैं ना, क्या मेरी conscience मुझे ये करने के लिए allow करती है? My conscience, my moral self, drawn from the social settings and cultural codes. जो super ego है, it takes the source of super ego is our society, the morals, the ethics. It influences the way the conscious works. Id, that's Freud's favorite territory because that's the unconscious one. Instinct, एकदम कई लोग होते हैं ना मुंह फट, probably towards id more. So it's the instincts, the dreams, the desires, and all that which is not in the consciousness. This is the unconscious. The process through which certain desires, especially the sexual, are pushed into the unconscious so that they do not influence our daily lives and our conscious mind is called repression. I also told you repression is also very important when we're talking about Sigmund Freud. Repression क्या होता है? जब हमें लगता है कि कुछ चीज़ें ऐसी हैं जो हमारी सोसाइटी हमें अलाउ नहीं करती है, तो हम कुछ अपनी डिज़ायर्स को पुश कर देते हैं. So the process through which certain desires, especially sexual desires, are pushed into the unconscious so that they do not influence our daily lives and our conscious mind is called repression. अब इसमें क्या क्या चीज़ें आती हैं? एक तो सेक्सुअल डिज़ायर्स हो गई, लेकिन कुछ गिल्ट, कुछ बहुत ट्रॉमा जैसे डेथ ऑफ समबडी वेरी क्लोज टू यू, abuse, are quickly shunned out of the conscious and are put into the unconscious, which appear only at certain moments like dreams, during stress, images, jokes, slip of tongues and even art. बस वहीं से ये चीज़ें हैं जो बाहर आती हैं. So for Freud, all human life is surrounded by two principles. First is the pleasure principle, second is the reality principle. Pleasure principle is where everything that we do is governed by the need to get pleasure and avoid unpleasure. Freud कहते हैं कि हम अपनी लाइफ में कुछ भी करते हैं ना, वो हम pleasure पाने के लिए करते हैं. Everything that we do is governed by the need to get pleasure and to avoid unpleasure. कोई ऐसी चीज़ ना हम करें जिससे हमें अच्छा नहीं लगेगा, obviously, But क्या ऐसा हो पाता है? नहीं ना. Not everything that we do we gain pleasure out of it. That's not possible. So that then there is second principle, which is reality principle. We understand that all our pleasures cannot be fulfilled the way we want them, and therefore inspires us to seek other routes of attaining pleasure. That is reality principle. So we know that कुछ भी हम करें सब चीज़ों से pleasure नहीं मिलेगा, तो हम क्या करते हैं, हमें अनप्लेजर को अवॉइड करना है, तो हम कुछ अलग रास्ते ढूंढते हैं. अगेन, चलो ऐसा नहीं तो ऐसा सही, यहाँ पे ये करके मुझे नहीं अच्छा लग रहा है तो शायद मैं कोई और रास्ता ले लूँ, उससे कुछ अच्छा लगे. सो एवरीथिंग दैट वी डू इज़ बेसिकली टू अटेन दैट प्लेजर. ठीक है, दीज आर द टू प्रिंसिपल्स. लिबिडो इज़ अनदर टर्म. लिबिडो फॉर फ्रॉइड इज सेक्शुअल एनर्जी. sexual drive. And according to Freud, it is the primary drive that is there in a human being, that he terms as libido. Sex drive gets repressed primarily. तो जो हमने रिप्रेशन की बात की, सबसे पहला जो डिज़ायर, जो ड्राइव है, जो हम रिप्रेस करते हैं अनकॉन्शियस में, वो होती है सेक्शुअल ड्राइव. Individuals' sexual identity is a result of expression of desires or partly the condition caused by repression. What is your sexuality? Homosexual, heterosexual, bisexual. Now, individuals' sexual identity is a result of the expression of desires or partly the condition caused by repression. हो सकता है that a person is homosexual, but because the society, how society behaves, अगर हम कुछ टाइम पहले की भी बात करें, आप अभी still things are opening up, but let's talk about 10-20 years back, 50 years back. There might have been people who could not talk about it, who could not even accept it, and therefore their sexuality was actually the result of repression. They probably repressed it. In order to explain this, he developed the idea of Oedipus complex. So now we will discuss it in detail. I told you a little bit कि Oedipus complex का origination क्या है, originate कैसे होता है. Oedipus complex. Freud, speaking about the male child. Now remember that, Freud has talked mostly about a male child, not the female child. So Freud, talking about the male child, says that the problem with sexual desires begin with child dependence on the mother only. अब फ्रॉइड की थ्योरीज को बहुत बार many people have said that फ्रॉइड की थ्योरीज में बहुत ज़्यादा सेक्शुअल चीज़ें हैं, एंड many people have also criticized Freud because Freud talks about sexual desires from childhood. So Freud says that जो desires है ना, वो बचपन से शुरू हो जाती हैं, as a child only, when child does not even know anything. He talks about different stages of child, and that we'll not talk about because that's more in psychology. If you're interested, you can go and read. So he says that sexual desires का जो problem है, it starts with child's dependence on the mother. जब छोटा एक लड़का बच्चा है, वो mother पे obviously dependent है, कोई भी बच्चा dependent होता है. Love for the mother is dominant theme in child's psyche in the early years. बच्चा और किसी को पहचानता भी नहीं है, देखो स्टार्टिंग के ईयर्स में बच्चे के लिए mother is the mother. So mother is dominant theme. The love for mother is the dominant theme in his psyche. धीरे धीरे when the child enters language, understands that this is mother, this is father. स्टार्टिंग में क्या होता है, the child does not know. Child को लगता है that the child and the mother are one, कि मम्मा अलग नहीं है मुझसे. That's what the child thinks. And he doesn't know anything else. But as soon as the child enters language, उसको पता चलता है, okay, this person is mother. I am a different human being and he is my father. The child starts looking at the father as a rival, threat. Why? Because the child understands that, okay, the mother की life में father भी है. So he imagines a threat from father, and that threat is castration. It's also symbolic in a way. He imagines that, okay, the father will think that now I have also come in my mother's life, so maybe I have this threat from my father. So the child starts fantasizing of killing the father. And this is where comes Oedipus complex. आप लोग कहोगे कि कैसी पागलों वाली बातें हैं. How can a child think all of this? But that's Sigmund Freud. He probably studied all of this and knows better. So the child starts fantasizing about killing the father. Soon he sees that, okay, father is a very authoritative person. father has power, and he is the source of all power and desire. Then he shifts his focus to the father from mother. तो जो ये desire for mother है, that I want my mother all to myself, it is shunned away in the unconscious. It is repressed, and that is why he says that the primary drive that is repressed is the sexual drive, which is the first love, the object of desire, and that is the mother for the child. ठीक है, तो this is Oedipus complex. Dreams and the unconscious. So you all know that Freud has talked a lot about dream. He wrote a very important work. Dreams are the expression of repressed desire. अब repressed तो हमने कर दिया. Dreams are a major source that we can understand the unconscious mind. Dreams actually are a language, Freud says. Language of the unconscious and of repressed desires. This language is termed as dream work. So dream work. What is it? What is dream work? Dreams, Freud says that language की form में ही dreams आते हैं. And that's the language of unconscious and of the repressed desires. So, उस language को dream work कहा है. अब कहते हैं dream work के दो central dimensions हैं. First is latent dream content. Second is manifest dream content. Latent dream content is the actual content of the unconscious that seeks expression. मतलब जो unconscious mind में actually है, उसको हम latent dream content कहते हैं, जो आना चाहता है dream में. Actual content that tries to seek expression. What is manifest dream content? Expression of the content in the form of images or events in one's dream. जिस form में वो सारा content images की form में बाहर आता है, उसको manifest dream content कहते हैं. Latent is actual content, manifest is that you see in your dreams. So these are the two central dimensions of a dream work. Now he says that dreams जो हैं, ये जो पूरा ड्रीम वर्क है, लेटेंट ड्रीम कंटेंट जो है वो मैनिफेस्ट ड्रीम कंटेंट जब बनता है, इट गोज थ्रू सर्टन प्रोसेसेस. विल सी दैट. नाउ व्हाट इज द प्रॉब्लम? द लेटेंट ड्रीम कंटेंट इज नॉट क्लियर. ऑब्वियसली वी डोंट नो व्हाट इज देयर इन द अनकॉन्शियस माइंड. वही तो सबसे बड़ा क्वेश्चन है. It is so much complex. It is concealed inside in a complex structure and codes. It can only be revealed through analyzing the manifest dream. So once you see the dream and then you talk to somebody, you tell that I saw this in my dream, and then your manifest dream can be analyzed by some specialist. Only then the specialists can analyze through manifest dream that what was actually the latent dream. बट हमारे घरों में तो सभी लोग एनालिस्ट्स बन जाते हैं. हैव यू हर्ड? आई सॉ अ स्नेक इन माई ड्रीम. You should go to the temple and probably offer some milk or something. If you saw a black dog in your dream, go and feed the dog. Certain things like that, right? So that's how you actually analyze the manifest dream. So Freud argued that the latent dream goes through 4 main stages, the dream work, before it expresses in the form of manifest dream. Number 1 is condensation. The latent dream content is condensed in the manifest dream. Several elements are superimposed on each other to produce a complex image in the manifest dream. A situation in a dream may be expressed as a symbol. Condensation क्या होता है? ड्रीम में, इस ड्रीम वर्क में क्या होता है दैट बहुत सारी मल्टीपल इमेजेस आर देयर एंड दे सीक एक्सप्रेशन, राइट? वो सारे कॉम्प्लेक्स इमेजेस एक ही साथ वो ड्रीम में आते हैं. सो दे आर कंडेंस्ड इनटू ईच अदर. सेवरल एलिमेंट्स दे आर सुपर इम्पोज्ड ऑन ईच अदर एंड देन दे प्रोड्यूस अनदर कॉम्प्लेक्स इमेज दैट इज इन द फॉर्म ऑफ द मैनिफेस्ट ड्रीम. सो ए सिचुएशन एक ड्रीम में इट मे बी एक्सप्रेस्ड एज अ सिंबल. एंड देर आर सो मेनी सिम्बल्स. बहुत सारी चीज़ों की हम बात करते हैं दैट ओके. कई बार क्या होता है दैट कई बार you want to, there is a particular situation in your day-to-day life वही इमेज एक बहुत कॉम्प्लेक्स फॉर्म में आपके ड्रीम में आ जाती है. देयर आर डिफरेंट थिंग्स. सेकेंड इज डिस्प्लेसमेंट. इन दिस द लेटेंट ड्रीम कंटेंट वर्क्स एज an association and is then produced in complex image. Displacement works through association. So this one is another one. Displacement में क्या होता है ना? Let's imagine that you are angry. You're very angry in your daytime. You were angry with somebody. In your dream, that anger you will take it out, but not on the same person that you are angry with. A neutral image will be shown. So you have what you've done is you've displacement कर दिया आपने. So latent dream content works as an association and it is then produced in a complex image. So displacement जो है वो it works through association. You associate different things and then you displace. Representation or representability. The language of the dream often uses complex images that has no apparent basis in reality. Strange images like upright objects, tower or poles are representation of the male organ and substitute a language where there is no logical or rational connection between the two. This is very funny actually. ये कहते हैं that representation. Language इतनी कमाल की चीज़ है. एक तो वो complex images को use करती है और reality से उसको कोई मतलब नहीं है. Example दिया है. जैसे कोई अपराइट ऑब्जेक्ट्स हैं जैसे पोल्स या टावर्स या कोई भी अपराइट चीज़ें आप अपने ड्रीम में देख रहे हो, दैट एक्चुअली रिप्रेजेंट्स द मेल ऑर्गन एंड कॉन्स्टिट्यूट द लैंग्वेज वेयर देयर इज नो लॉजिकल और रैशनल कनेक्शन बिटवीन द टू. एंड द लास्ट वन इज सेकेंडरी रिविजन. द ड्रीमर हिमसेल्फ और हरसेल्फ इंटरप्रेट्स द ड्रीम एंड इन डूइंग सो रिवाइजेज इट इन द प्रोसेस. अब ड्रीम तो देख लिया, सुबह उठ के आप उसको कई बार याद भी नहीं रहता, कई बार तो याद होता है. तो आप क्या करते हो? आप अपना ड्रीम सुनाते हो या खुद ही रिवाइज करते हो उसको. तो एक्चुअली जो हमने देखा होता है ना ड्रीम में वो एक बहुत कॉम्प्लेक्स इमेज में होता है. बट जब हम उसको रिवाइज करते हैं तो हम उसको एक कंस्ट्रक्ट कर देते हैं एक प्रॉपर वे में. वॉट वी डू इज़ वी टेक अप डिफरेंट इमेजेस एंड वी कनेक्ट देम इन द मॉर्निंग एंड वी मेक इट अप एज अ स्टोरी. एंड दैट इज़ द प्रोसेस ऑफ सेकेंडरी रिविजन. समटाइम्स वॉट हैपन्स इज वी फॉरगेट सर्टन थिंग्स, है ना. कई बार होता है ना, यहाँ तक याद है, इसके बाद यार पता नहीं क्या हुआ तो मैं भूल गई. वो क्या होता है? वो भूले नहीं होते, वो कॉन्शियस माइंड भूल जाता है बिकॉज आपका कॉन्शियस माइंड उसको अनकॉन्शियस में रिप्रेस कर देता है बिकॉज इट इज़ नॉट अलाउड इन द सोसाइटी. इट्स अ टैबू इन द सोसाइटी एंड दैट्स हाउ वी रिप्रेस सर्टन थिंग्स. मैं भूल गई, पता नहीं क्या हुआ था उसके बाद. द प्रोसेस कंपनीज विद सेंसरशिप. This is the censorship, जहाँ पे ड्रीमर इग्नोर्स और forgets all of the elements of the dreams. कुछ भी याद नहीं होता कई बार. ठीक है, so these are the stages. Okay. Reader response criticism. I think I'll stop here with Freud because otherwise it will be too much to remember. So I hope this much is clear. Quickly let's revise. सबसे पहले इंट्रोड्यूस किया हमने साइको एनालिटिक क्रिटिसिज्म को. होता क्या है साइको एनालिसिस? इडिपस कॉम्प्लेक्स को इंट्रोड्यूस किया. टेक्स्ट्स ये हम और इलेबोरेट करेंगे रीडर रिस्पॉन्स क्रिटिसिज्म में. वी टॉक्ड अबाउट सिगमंड फ्रॉइड. वी टॉक्ड अबाउट द स्ट्रक्चर्स ऑफ ह्यूमन साइकी. वी इलेबोरेटेड ऑन ईगो, सुपर ईगो एंड इड. What is Freud most interested in? Id, because it is the unconscious. Then we talked about repression. We talked about the two basic principles, pleasure principle, reality principle. We also talked about libido and we talked about Oedipus complex in detail. And finally, we talked about dreams and the unconscious. We talked about the dream work, latent dream content, manifest dream content, and the 4 stages that it goes through: condensation, displacement, representation, and secondary revision. So यहाँ तक आप please याद रखिएगा and let me know in the comment section which is the book that Sigmund Freud wrote on dreams and with the date. I will see you in the next session of psychoanalysis and we'll try and complete psychoanalysis. Probably in the next or next to next session. Bye-bye. Oh, and please subscribe to the channel and please share the video with others if you liked it.